think giving birth is like running a marathon with 2 broken limbs.
It's like you have a stick of dynamite in your body that explodes your entire and vagina.
Like a transformative journey. And along this journey is many challenges, as well as
pushing out something like yourself.
And your life changing all at the same time.
Like nothing that you can possibly prepare for.
Lots of responsibility.
I didn't think too much about childbirth before I did it.
I was terrified about the concept of childbirth.
It's like, whoa, this baby has to come out of here somehow.
So I did a few things to prepare for childbirth. I hired a doula who really helped me with breathing techniques.
I did take a class with nurses from the hospital I was giving birth at.
I went for research on childbirth online, family and friends. I joined a ton of mom groups, especially the over 35 groups.
I actually went into labor the day before my scheduled induction.
I was asleep in bed when my water broke. It was 5 days after my due date.
I was like in total denial. Like I was like having these really bad contractions and I was like, no.
I was very anxious about having passed my due date. When I say I'm going to do something by a certain time frame, I get that done. So I kind of expected my baby to do that too. Initially, I was trying to hold back and labor at home for as long as possible. My doula was supposed to be at my house during that time, but unfortunately, she had a conflict. And, my husband was like, so I think it's time to go to the hospital. What do you think?
At 34 weeks, I was at the doctor's office and my blood pressure was sky high. So I was immediately sent to the hospital, which was like a 3-minute drive. And they said, okay, well, we're going to keep you here until you're ready to deliver. And then within the next 20 minutes, the doctor comes in and says, change of plans. We're going to induce you tonight.
So we got in the car and I was in the back seat because at that point I couldn't find a comfortable seated position.
I just had to call my husband and say I'm sorry, you need to leave work. I think I need to be checked. There might be something wrong. I'm scheduled to go in anyway. Let's just go.
It was just a whirlwind of emotion. I remember I cried a lot and I told them that they could absolutely not do anything until my partner was there with my pillow and some other amenities that I needed to be comfortable.
I was excited, but I was also like, the contractions were not fun. I have a low pain threshold as it is. So I just felt like, oh God, this is gonna really suck. It is the hardest workout of your life. There's a lot of moaning, a lot of groaning and
shaking uncontrollably. I vomited.
I remember my husband being there. We held hands. I think I probably crushed his hand a few times. Every movement triggered a very deep and painful contraction. The way that I breathed through my contractions was like a count. I would breathe in through the nose and then, I can't take this seriously.
So there was no movement in my labor. I was having just very mild contractions. Nothing, that basic Tylenol couldn't fix.
And at this point, I was screaming at everyone. I mean, I was screaming at the staff. I was screaming at all the nurses. I was truly acting insane.
The doctors came in and talked to me and were like, we're not sure how this birth is gonna go.
In that moment, it was important for me to advocate for myself because I felt that my voice was not being heard.
There are definitely some moments in labor, especially when things start to get a little intense, where you will not be able to speak. You really need someone to advocate for you just in case you can't say what you need.
I told my partner, I'm very adamant, if I cannot speak for myself, this is what I want.
I did get an epidural. It's just like getting a shot in your back. You bend over, hunched up. And then they're like, don't move, don't move, don't move. And then they just give you a shot. And then it's like sweet magic.
The epidural hitting felt wonderful. I could see the light of day. I was like a new person. I apologized to everyone I did wrongdoings to. I wish for everyone to experience getting an epidural once in their lives.
It was just like, ooh, okay. Now I can do this now. I'm ready to go.
The baby's heartbeat kept dropping. It happened 2 times in about a 20-minute window, and they said if this happens again, our protocol is such that then you will be wheeled off into emergency C-section.
So then it went back up and they were like, we want to get him out.
And I really was pushing as hard as I possibly could. The doctor was not seeing any crowning or even far from it.
My cervix was not opening up. It was at a -3 position, which is nowhere near close to being ready to deliver a baby.
And they were like, his eyes are facing the wrong way. He's not in the right position. We need to turn him.
And by the morning, now my doctor, he was back in, and he comes in, he says, we're going to get this baby out of you this morning. I said, thank you, because it's already been 12 hours and nothing is working.
And that's when she checked me and said, you're 10 centimeters, we need a push right now. And the doctor was like, Mom, hold this leg. Husband, hold this arm. We're pushing.
I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and I knew how to push because I had already done it before, and he wasn't coming out. So they turned him over, and now I was pushing and he was coming out.
I actually have really fond memories of how the C-section went down. When they wheeled me into the operating room, I remember there being a lot of people.
And then finally he came out, and I remember not hearing anything, and he was blue like a blueberry. So that was really scary. And then I heard like him crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's alive. Like, this is amazing.
At one point, I remember being flooded with a sense of goodwill. This is probably my favorite part of the entire birthing experience. This is while I was cut up for sure. But I think this was before they had taken the baby out. I remember feeling like all was going to be right with the world. I was telling the 15-something people in the room all kinds of things, personal things that they didn't really need to hear.
The moment I heard my son cry, it was a miraculous moment. I'm alive. My baby's alive.
I remember she was coming out and my doctor was saying, do you want to see her? And I was like, no. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, okay, fine. And so I like looked down and she's just like a bloody like mess. But I was like, she's so beautiful. You know, you're just like so nuts with emotion.
When I finally got to hold my son for the first time, it was amazing because I was actually able to do skin-to-skin contact. He just laid right here in my chest, and I remember looking down, I'm like, oh my gosh, like 2 days ago, you were inside my stomach. Like, so it was the best feeling.
At one point I said, is this the side effect of the medication? And they said, this is what it feels like to become a mom, which was really sweet. It was just the most beautiful moment of my life. I mean, truly, like it was the happiest I've ever been. I held her for about, I think it was hours. My mom was there and we were just like crying and just so in such disbelief. Also, my doula had sent a backup doula who arrived after my baby was born, which was not helpful. But other than that, it was perfect, beautiful moment.
Looking back on my journey, it was great. I'm glad that I was able to carry a baby. I'm glad that I was able to birth a baby. I'm not going to do it again.
Like, you're about to do one of the most difficult things that you're gonna do,
and you do what you need to do to get through it. Pay no attention to what anybody else says, even something you might have told yourself but now that you're going through it, you do what you need to do to get yourself on the other side.
The priority always is the safety of you, the safety of the baby,
and just know that you are capable and you are really wonderful. It is truly the most amazing and also most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. It's truly amazing, highly recommend.